guests this morning. We welcome you. Likewise,
Mucho explicar. Mucho explicar.
Bonjour everybody. His Excellency John Fix, High Commissioner of Australia to the Republic of Fiji, Mr. David Cartrude, Regional Director for Asia and the Pacific Bureau World Food Program, Mr. Laze Melgard, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, my apologies if I'm not, Resident Representative for the South Pacific World Bank, regional guests, government representatives, representatives of non-governmental organizations, United Nations representatives, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Bulabinaka, and welcome to Fiji, welcome to the Hilton, welcome to Denarau Island. Thank you for the warm welcome. It is indeed a delight for me to officially open the inaugural Pacific Regional Shock Responsive Social Protection Conference for 2018. And I thank you all for traveling from different parts of the Pacific to be here this week. A forum like this is highly timely and of great importance to us in this part of the world. And Fiji is very proud to be hosting this first ever Shock Responsive Social Protection Conference for the Pacific. We believe that it's an important step in fostering strategic regional coordination and a technical practitioners network that will help us here in the Pacific advance our social protection mechanisms, particularly making them shock responsive and fit for purpose during natural disasters. The Pacific region is one that is highly vulnerable to the threat posed by natural disasters, such as tropical cyclones and tsunamis in the face of climate change. In the past few years, there have been 3 Category 5 cyclones, Pam, Winston, and Gita. And after these cyclones, every time we hear the names Pam, Winston, and Gita, we get a bit apprehensive. As well as the El Nino drought, which was devastating for our region in terms of lives lost, infrastructure damage, and their huge impact on livelihood and on life itself and on the sustainability of life. And let us not forget Cyclone Hola, which also left significant devastation in its wake after battering of Vanuatu just a fortnight ago. In the past 60 years, Pacific Island countries have experienced losses averaging US $284 million a year due to natural disasters and climate shocks. These have affected over 9 million people and caused somewhere around 9,811 reported deaths. When Fiji was hit by Tropical Cyclone Winston, an estimated 350,000 people, that is 40% of Fiji's population, had been affected, 180,000 men and 170,000 women. The Fiji government led the response to this emergency, where our National Disaster Management Office, the NDMO, coordinated our efforts and had activated a National and Divisional Emergency Operations Center, Fiji-wide. A 30-day state of natural disaster had been declared, which expired on March 21st. 42 people were confirmed dead. Some 56,000 people were sheltered in evacuation centers. The cyclone damaged at least 495 schools, some of which we are still fixing and rebuilding, 88 health facilities, disrupted basic public services, and destroyed crops and livelihoods. According to the post-disaster needs assessment, jointly prepared by the government and development partners, total damage and losses from Winston were estimated at $1.42 billion, equivalent to 31% of our gross domestic product. Just one event did that. The damages were so extensive that we are still recovering from that destruction. Ladies and gentlemen, women bear the heaviest brunt of global warming and climate change in a disproportionate manner, and unfortunately are not being empowered enough to contribute to the solutions. But government is doing its bit to try to address this. Rural women, in comparison to other women, do lack access to basic services and infrastructure such as water and sanitation, electricity, education, and health in the Pacific. And this gets worse during disasters. Common, highly concerning challenges faced by women in Fiji and in the Pacific include the high rates of domestic violence and abuse, disproportionate representation at leadership levels, and inadequate opportunities for economic benefits in the informal sector. In the face of climate change, these challenges are further compounded with the additional burden of destruction of their home or village or vital resources due to the disaster. Extreme weather events are more likely to kill women and children and also leave them with fewer resources to rebuild their lives due to their limited legal assets and access to property. Fiji is proud that the adoption of the first Gender Action Plan also took place at COP23 during Fiji's presidency. This will help ensure that the benefits of climate action are shared equitably and that the plan's principles and practices are integrated throughout the work of the institutions that govern our collective response to climate change, not only in our region, but for women all around the world. Tropical Cyclone Winston woke us up in this country. After Tropical Cyclone Winston, we truly realized how badly people get affected by these catastrophic events of nature. And the whole nation came together to put Fiji back on its feet. We are most grateful for all of our friends from all over the world who came to help us out. The same has happened in Tonga after the recent devastation of Tropical Cyclone Gita. Our people needed help at every level, from rebuilding their homes to resetting their livelihoods to dealing with the emotional trauma that follows these events. And we collaborated through every possible avenue with national and international stakeholders to do this. Climate change continues to play havoc with our livelihoods and our fragile ecosystems. It is now more important than ever to think about creative new solutions that will ensure our most vulnerable communities are not marginalized or forced to bear the brunt of climate disasters alone. So we welcome this opportunity to learn from and share our experiences with our technical partners, the UN World Food Programme and the World Bank, who have designed and implemented successful and ongoing programs in Asia, Africa, and the recent shock-responsive social protection consultations in the Latin American and Caribbean region, and the South-South Learning Forum in Bonn. Thank you for your commitment, and we look forward to collaboratively growing our knowledge base. This conference will also allow us to identify gaps and needs for support to advance emergency preparedness, planning, and mechanisms. Climate change for us in the Pacific represents the greatest global threat that we face together. As our Prime Minister says, we are all on the same canoe. It will require all of us to mobilize and to react to ensure we conserve and we are able to develop a sustainable future for all of us. I wish to conclude by saying that the most vulnerable in our communities are depending on you. We certainly have the best minds in the room this week from all over the Pacific, and I humbly request that you contribute to making this an open and highly productive forum. My hope for this forum is that it is remembered as the pioneering start of many such annual events that will be known for their visionary, tenacious problem solvers with a primary focus on innovative knowledge transfer. Thank you once again, and I hereby declare the Pacific Regional Shock Responsive Social Protection Conference formally open. Thank you, Mr. Walim.
Eyes closed or looking somewhere they should be looking. More informal ones, so feel free to wave or. On the count of 1, 2, 3. Wula.